Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
Somewhere between science and superstition.
We have such sights to show you.
Strange Eons. Welcome to Strange Eons Radio. That's Eric Margaret over there.
Yes, it is.
That's Vanessa Williams over there.
Good day.
Hi, guys. I'm Kelly Young. We are talking about internet as our topic today. But before we get into that, I feel like I owe everybody a gigantic apology for the last couple of episodes.
What?
I had a bit too much to drink, and then I thought I'd be fine to record with my friends.
What, Kelly? I would say, you really should apologize, but I actually was drunk enough. I don't remember the second one.
I'll say that last episode was like listening to a brand new episode.
It was.
I had zero recollection of anything going on. Eric,
You held it really well together.
Eric, I owe you a gigantic apology for putting you through that and making you edit that.
That was quite an editing job, let me tell you.
It was amazing.
Behind the curtain thing again. The average audio edit, a real professional, which I'm not, will edit about a minute of audio in about 2 minutes. I do a minute of audio about 2.5 to 3.5 minutes. So I've gotten relatively fast. We recorded an hour and a half. That's at worst a 3 hour. It took me over 5 hours to make that all make sense. No. I hope, though, listening to it, you can understand why our regular listeners enjoy listening to it. And you thought, well, I like this podcast. I think I would listen to this myself, even if I wasn't on it.
Oh, my God.
That's not how I felt at all, except my anxiety level so high listening to me slur my way through everything.
Yeah, I stopped after about 4 minutes. I couldn't do it. I was like, I sound like a freaking Valley girl who's really not able to understand what's going on in the room.
You ever seen that Saturday Night Live routine? The woman at the party you wish you hadn't started talking to?
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit of that going on.
Yeah, I really did. I you know what? And people have always said like, oh, you're a really fun drunk. You're really talkative. I was like, no, I'm not. This is awful. I feel bad I talked, but not in a good way.
Well, I'll say this about now, and here's the thing. You and I got a little smashed.
It's
Eric
true.
Had a drink.
Held it together very nicely.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was a good gentleman.
But I will say this about you and I. We are happy drunks.
That's
at
true.
least. We're not asshole drunks. And so, take that for what it's worth.
You know what? I've always enjoyed being drunk with you at Crypticon.
There you go.
Yeah.
There it is.
There you go.
You're very pleasant drunk
Plus,
to be there.
You got to know my toilet intimately
so
afterwards.
so well. As in many others.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was so beautiful. Yeah. It was great, too. Like, I managed to get all the way home safe, opened the door, and just went on the parking lot.
Oh, no.
For like a good 5 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. It was, it felt really good because I was like feeling really bad. I was like, screw you, cement. I hope it rains tonight.
Wow.
Yeah, it was rough. It's been a long time. I haven't been sick like that from drinking since I turned 30. I think that was the last time.
So a year or so.
Sure.
Sounds about right.
Sounds accurate. Definitely not like 6.
The other thing we're dealing with right now is COVID-19 has kind of taken over our lives a little bit.
Yeah.
And this is the last recording session we'll probably be allowed to do here at the Strange Eons offices. But for now, we are in the same room together, so let's make the best of it, you guys.
Yeah. I know,
Definitely.
we've got the order now that Everett is going to be shutting you in. They're going to nail your door.
Luckily,
Naval Station Everett.
Yeah. Luckily, I consider Strange Eons podcasting as essential work.
Oh, yeah.
So,
As you should. So what are you guys doing to keep busy during this exciting time?
are you talking about like watching movies?
Sure. Yeah.
Well, available to rent now. It's a strange world we're living in. I watched The Hunt.
Did you really?
Yeah.
How was that?
I am super curious because I thought it sounded like Republican propaganda. Am I wrong?
I fucking loved every
Really?
single minute of it.
Really? Okay.
It makes fun of super liberals
Okay.
and
And super Republicans. Okay, that makes me feel better.
Conservatives. It's. I think it's a very biting satire on politics and woke culture and just everything.
Okay.
There's
Cancel culture and all that now too.
depending on what you hate. This has a point of view on it in this movie.
Wow.
And it was a blast.
Nice.
Yeah, I loved every minute of it. Now, is it worth $20 to rent? Hard to say. A movie ticket is not much less than that.
Right. For one person.
Yeah,
it's
and if you're
15
watching it
on average around here.
Yeah,
maybe?
if you're watching it with your
Yeah.
family, then you're getting
a good deal.
So
that's what I was thinking. Is it's got to be the price for like a room packed with people.
right.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I watched.
Nice.
Awesome.
Well, as we started off at the top of the hour talking about COVID and Crypticon, well, that's what I've spent the last
Oh yes.
week or so dealing with
Oh,
is
no.
that Crypticon got postponed
Yeah.
until September.
Yeah.
I got to say, the people that are the number writers, the people writing the checks, Troy and Mickey and Crypticon, did a bang up job.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know everybody around the world is having everything canceled, and almost every single one of them is until further notice or indefinitely. They managed to nail the hotel down to a date in September,
That's
which
pretty
hopefully
great.
will be far enough away.
Right.
I would
But
think
it's not
so.
like they said, oh, yeah, we'll give you late April, or I mean, not late May or maybe June, but no, they got September. So
Yeah.
have dates set. That means we can, Steve can go out and rebook all the guests that'll be able to make it at that time. And I pushed no longer accepting any film festival submissions because I feel like I'd be screwing over the people that did it in the right time frame.
Right.
So I'm not submitting any of those, but I did push out the acceptance date until June.
Yeah.
Or until July, I mean. But yeah, that's what I've been doing the last week. And overall, I think largely because we had those dates set, the response has been very positive. I've been having to answer a lot of emails, and I also run the Crypticon Twitter accounts. I've been doing a lot with that. But overall, knock on wood, pretty solid, positive response. But it certainly has been a lot of
Yeah. Do you
catch
know?
up.
Do we know like what the dates in September are going to be at this point?
I think it's
Are
the
we allowed to say?
18th or something. Yeah.
Oh, that's
20th, I
great.
think.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah.
And we managed to move from being on the same weekend as Frightmare in Texas to Monsterpalooza in California.
Well,
It's like,
look.
It's fine.
always the opposite somebody, damn it.
Yeah, I think I feel less bad about sharing Monsterpalooza. I'm just happy because it's I always end up going to either PAX or Bumbershoot, and that's always Labor Day weekend, which is always my birthday. So I'm like, I've had like 6 PAX birthdays in a row, which is not fun, I have to say.
Because you kind of work those. That's not a party for you.
No, it's not enjoyable. I'd rather not. So it's really nice to know that this is happening on the 18th, so I can like not have my birthday during it.
So
That's a big plus.
It's not like you're celebrating your birthday with 50,000 of your favorite people.
No, because they're not people I want to be with for my birthday. Do I really want to stand in line with a bunch of people who want to
Let's
play a
hope
game
none
that
of
gets
them are
released in 2
listening
days?
to this podcast.
There's no way they are.
That's true. Nobody listens.
No,
to
they're
this podcast.
game people. They're only listening to game podcasts. It's fine. No, like I don't mind. I really don't mind gamers. That's not it. Or game culture. That's my life. But it's work. Like you
Yeah,
said, it's work.
exactly.
So
And you have to wear a pizza outfit sometimes.
sometimes that just helps. That's just an anxiety reliever.
Good call.
So I don't have to be Vanessa for a day. It's big relief.
What about you? What are you watching?
Oh man. So with COVID going down, I, like many people, went ahead and threw on Outbreak, which I actually had not seen. Yeah, tiny cute monkey running around doing monkey things.
Just like
making
Dead
everybody
Alive.
sick.
Those damn monkeys.
It's true. Basically the same film. Yeah, no, it was fun enough. It was fine, and I felt good to be like part of, many people watching this experience, I guess. I also managed to see finally Freaks.
Todd Browning? Freak?
No.
Oh, the recent film?
brand
new
new
one that
Freaks.
you kept going on about.
Yeah, I do love
so
it.
good. So
I liked it a lot, but I also didn't love it as much as I don't know. I think because there was so much hype, and by so much hype, I mean you talked it up so much that when I sat down to watch
Since when
it,
have you believed anything I've said?
apparently since now. So, no, it had a lot of really, for a low budget movie, I was super impressed. I thought they did a brilliant job of using limited spaces and limited effects to the maximum ability. So that was cool. But I think I didn't like the perspective of seeing it all through the eyes of a little girl, like a little slightly annoying girl.
Yeah, I get it. I thought that there's a little twist in there that I didn't see coming that I really enjoyed. And I thought the acting was really stellar in Bruce Dern. Old Bruce Dern is somehow even better than young Bruce Dern.
Oh my God, is that Bruce Dern?
Yeah.
As the grandfather?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know. I was a little, there was a logic jump I had where I was like, why, how come the dad didn't notice that Bruce Dern is sitting in the driveway all day, every day? I just want to know, because he's super perceptive about everything except that. I'm like, she's like literally looking at this freaking truck every day.
Well, I think that he's exerting a tremendous amount of concentration on doing what he was doing.
That's true. Yeah.
And he also tended to show up when he left.
Oh, there you go.
When her dad
solved
left, he
my
showed up.
problem. Thank you, Eric. So much better. So yeah, those are a couple of things I checked out.
I finally finished The Outsider on HBO.
Oh, yeah. I still have a few to go. I was a little, see what you think after I say this, I was a little honestly disappointed to see that one director directs almost all of the episodes for the rest of the season. Does it maintain the strangeness?
I didn't feel like it was as noticeable as that first time for me, but I think if you're going to be looking for it, you're probably going to see it. There's a lot of interesting, maybe too interesting camera angles and stuff like that. But I'm not sure how I felt about it. It kind of fizzled out for me, but then I remembered that I thought the ending of the book also fizzled out. Ben Mendelsohn, I'm going to watch him in anything anyway.
Sure.
So I was totally fine with that. I don't know. It was one of those things. A lot of people really loved it. And a lot of people were bored by the second episode. And I think I fall somewhere between those people.
So what is The Outsider? Is that a TV show?
Yeah, on HBO is I think it was 8 episodes. It might have been 10
Sounds
episodes.
right. I think it's 8.
And it's based on a Stephen King novel.
Oh, okay.
And it's kind of a police procedural that takes
What?
a very dark supernatural
Okay, there we go.
twist.
I was like, wait, police procedural does not sound Stephen King, but
Well, his
There we
last, I mean, he's got a trilogy of books, Mr. Mercedes, and, and that's all police procedural stuff.
Oh, interesting.
But
Okay.
this actually is kind of like a side quill to those stories.
Oh.
Because one of the characters crosses over into The Outsider.
Oh, wow.
Huh.
Yeah, so it was interesting. I liked it well enough. I just didn't love it as much as I was hoping I would after the first 2 episodes, which I thought were just stellar.
Yeah. I agree. That first one was just like, oh yeah, go.
Yeah, I thought we were getting, like the spiritual successor to True Detective or something. It's just like, this is going to be great. And then it was like,
It's a blown up CSI.
yeah.
I did have another one that I sort of watched. I was going to recommend for our subject this week, but turned out to be completely unavailable.
Oh no.
It was one that I screened at Crypticon 2 years ago that called Framed by director Mark Martinez Jordan. And the only place it's available, I thought I'd found it on Vimeo, but I realized I could only see it because my passcode was still active from when I watched it for the screening. But keep an eye out for it. It's a Spanish film, and it's a story about a guy or a team of people who, I would not recommend this for you, Kelly. It's kind of a home invasion story where a whole bunch of people are deciding we're going to get our likes and our follows up by breaking into this house and brutally, violently killing people that are in the house.
God.
It's actually very well done, really well acted, really uncomfortable, but for some reason it's not getting distribution, and I'm not sure why it wouldn't. Because it
Maybe
looks
it's in
fantastic too.
talks.
It's gorgeously shot.
Yeah.
Is this part of that Spanish film collective stuff that we get? All those amazing
Oh,
films? from?
they're usually shorts.
Oh, okay.
So, but it might be connected. I'm sure there are some fellow filmmakers.
They've got an amazing collective
Yeah, they
down
do.
in Mexico and in Spain. They
Spain,
do this big. Well, and I think it's actually through all of South America too. I think that's what I'm thinking of because isn't that where
Probably.
like Brutal Relax came
Yeah.
from? So it's just, I mean, they got their shit together as far as helping young indie filmmakers.
Yeah, they do some. The only problem they have, I won't name names because of what I'm about to say, but whoever puts the films together sometimes needs to go back and go, oh, this is a horror convention. Maybe I don't submit the film about the woman retiring and her last day at work.
Oh,
Or things that are so funny. Like, I'm sitting there going, well, what, is this going to twist into something
Right.
weird? Because the stills had these cool looking, strange images in a parking garage. I'm like, well, looks like it's going somewhere. No, it's like,
Oh my
that's all it was.
God.
Like, it was good.
Right.
It was still a good short, but it's like, yeah, this is, nope, weird. Okay.
oh my gosh.
But yeah, they did some great one. I can't think of the name of the short. I think you saw it too, where it was submitted to Issaquah. I'm going, there's no way in hell I can show this at the Issaquah Festival. So I was like, please submit this to Crypticon. And the whole story is a guy has died, but he hasn't. And when he wakes up on his deathbed, his mom and his wife are so
Oh yes.
into making sure his funeral goes forward that they try to kill him.
Oh my
They're
God.
very invested in the funeral.
Oh my God.
But he can't die. So it keeps going. It's one of those I look at, go, man, it's kind of a long short. It's like 18 to 20 minutes,
Yeah.
but it uses all of that time spectacularly. It's really sick and wrong, but it's excellent. And that was another one from that same Spanish group of promoters. It was really good.
Right.
That sounds awesome.
Anything else before we take a break?
No, I think that's it for me for now.
Okay, well then we will take a break. We're going to go wash our hands, and then we will come back. We'll be talking about internet stuff.
A friend of mine told me, try America Online. I said, why? I've got a computer. He said, try it. You'll see. It's simple. Every time you sign on,
Welcome.
it tells you if you've got mail.
You've got mail.
Want to send some email? Type the message, click here, and it's done. I like this. With one click, I can browse all kinds of great features on America Online. I've gotten help with my golf swing, planned my next vacation. I even get stock price updates every 15 minutes. America Online puts over 100 newspapers and magazines right on my screen. Everything from Time to Cycle World. And I can browse them all. With America Online, you can point and click your way across the internet. And their web browser makes it easy to explore the World Wide Web. Call the toll-free number and you'll receive your free startup kit and 10 free hours to look around. It's worth a try. You'll see.
To try America Online free, call 1-800-398-7799. You'll receive your free America Online Startup Kit and 10 free hours your first month. Call now.
And we are back. Vanessa, this was your genre pick, and I'm not even sure how to actually call this. When we go and name this thing, you just kind of threw out the internet.
Right. Yes. Because I think there's some really amazing pieces out there that circle around this idea of the internet and technology. And more important than the reality itself is probably there's this period of time in which we were really trying to work out what it could be. And I think we still do this. I think we still future guess ourselves as to like where technology is going. So the internet just being this like idea to me is super fun.
Oh,
Well,
cool.
Like you said when she introduced it, the net and its pizza ordering thing.
It's so
Full on
good.
reality
That's
now.
right. That's right.
Right? Exactly. I mean, like to me, I still feel like Amazon is just a replicator. It's just a slow replicator.
Just overburdened right
Yes.
now.
I would like a box of screws, please. 2 days later, I have a box of screws. Amazing. I didn't have to do anything. I could just stand right here.
Well, since this was your pick, you get to go first.
Absolutely. So my pick was something I had not seen before, and I was really excited for it. I wasn't sure I was going to go with it until I started watching it, and about 2 minutes in, I was like, this is my frickin' film. The choice I went with is Johnny Mnemonic.
What are you doing?
Making a long-distance phone call. Beijing, a hotel.
The year is 2021.
Reloading or not?
The world is wired.
Your storage capacity? I can carry nearly 80 gigs of data in my head.
Information is power. And secrets are a thing of the past. Unless you hire a courier like Johnny Mnemonic.
Hit me.
How do you fit all that in your head anyway?
I had to dump a chunk of long-term memory.
You had to dump a chunk of what?
My childhood.
For Johnny, inputting the data was easy.
Let's just start with what you got in there and what it's worth to the world.
The hard part is making the delivery.
Double cheese anchovies? You weren't on the menu. Charlie! They were waiting for me, Ralphie.
Johnny.
I'm listening.
The information you carry, you must protect it with your life.
Keanu Reeves.
You can't shoot me.
Not in the head.
Johnny Mnemonic.
I vaguely remember this one. Is this a Keanu Reeves film?
It is a Keanu Reeves film. Yeah, it's a Keanu Reeves film where he plays a character who he calls himself throughout most of it Mr. Smith. Ironically, it came out in 1995. It's a really interesting film. It's very, like I was just saying, it's very looking into the future as to what the internet can be, right at the cusp of when we're starting to even think about as a mass using the internet. So it's really fascinating to just future project themselves and be like, where is this going to go? It's actually based on a William Gibson novel, which I think gives it some really interesting clout. And he also wrote the screenplay. So he was pretty heavily involved in the story. But before I jump into that, just a couple of numbers to run past you guys. It had a budget of $26 million. It brought in a 19.1 total worldwide.
I remember it did fine. I remember it coming out at a lot of fanfare. Then it came out and it's like,
I remember hearing about it. And I actually was so convinced that it came out after The Matrix. And it was just like some knockoff Matrix movie that Keanu got like typecast for. I did not realize it was like 4 years before that. So it did not do good. 31% audience on Rotten Tomatoes, 13% critics.
Damn.
People hate this movie. Hate it. I think it's worth readdressing. When you have a score that low, I don't know.
Bruno Marte.
It's like, it's pretty sad. And I love their taglines. They have some really great ones, such as the hottest data on Earth in the coolest head in town. The danger is all in his head because he's carrying info in his head. They're so
You're not
bad.
helping your case here.
No,
I wish that the actual tagline was "The danger is all in his head" because he's carrying info in his head.
I think it might have helped, honestly. So it was directed by Robert Longo. This is the last film he ever directed. He's the visionary behind a lot of music videos. So he did New Order's Bizarre Love Triangle. He did a Megadeth video, 2 REM videos. He actually did one episode of Tales from the Crypt. And I think I was trying to work out what he's doing now. I think he's an artist, like an artsy artist.
Huh, like painter or sculptor.
I thought you were
like
going to
that.
tell me he killed himself after this movie or something like that.
No, I think he just had a redirect. He had a moment in his life where he's like, you know what? maybe not this.
There was a lot of those late 80s, early 90s. There's a lot of, he directed a lot of music videos. Let's see if he can make a movie.
Yep.
Not this one.
Not everybody was it Spike Jones was like the big one
David
to come
Fincher.
out of it? David
Spike
Fincher.
Jones.
Oh yeah. I mean, like, I think a lot of people were Michael Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Russell Mulcahy.
See, it was a risk. It was their version of what we're doing now with like indie film directors.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was, like I said, it was written by William Gibson. You guys may or may not know that name. He wrote Neuromancer, as well as Count Zero, Mona Lisa Overdrive. He is considered, his writing is considered part of the sort of definitive structure of cyberpunk.
Yeah. Okay.
So he's often like a touchstone for that. He actually also wrote a couple of video games that were based on his own works, like Neuromancer the game and Chaos Engine. And it's just interesting. He was like, hey, yeah, I have these ideas.
What time frame was that? Do you know when those came out?
I actually did not write it down. Yeah.
I was just curious if they were like graphically based or if they were like, what was it?
Text.
Zork? Yeah.
I think they're
text-based.
graphic. I think they're graphically based, but I could be wrong. Somebody's probably yelling at the radio right now.
Feel like a ghost.
The cast in this film is unreal. It is unreal. Okay, so we know that everybody knows Keanu Reeves stars as Johnny Mnemonic. Who I don't think am I saying that right? Mnemonic. Like I said, he goes by Mr. Smith, which is freaking amazing. You may know him from Speed, Matrix, Point Break, Bill and Ted. You're beautiful.
Keanu Reeves. Okay, yeah.
You're beautiful. Johnny Wick. Anyways, yeah.
Johnny Wick.
Sorry, John Wick. My brain. He's currently America's sweetheart. We all love him. If you have not yet seen Always Be My Maybe, there's something in there for you.
Yeah.
But the Johnny Mnemonic time was sort of when he was losing his
Yeah, it was when I think he was.
mojo.
When did Speed come out?
Yeah, he had Speed, and then he had a couple of
Nothing.
big budget films that did not do that
Point
well.
Break.
And then
probably did.
and then The Matrix.
Yeah. So this was in that weird in-between time where people were like, oh, maybe he's not as good as we thought he was. And he really wasn't that good.
Right.
But he's very good at doing a thing.
He is a movie star. He's kind of, like Tom Cruise. Sorry for the haters of Tom Cruise. But once he figured out who he was, and Nicolas Cage is doing that right now too. Where it's like, What I Am is very weird, at least in Cage's case. But once he figured out who he was and what kind of roles he could take or should take, started to knock it out of the freaking park, man.
Totally.
So
I mean, it's same exactly like with The Rock. Like, you're not going to expect a certain, what you're getting in that package. But if you like that package, and he's just such a freaking good guy.
Yeah, it does. I think that is the key to his longevity, is that by all accounts, he is the nicest human being on the planet.
Yeah, didn't he pay for like huge amounts of John Wick to get done the first one? Because they ran out of money, so he just started paying people.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. So you've got him. You've then also got Dina Meyer? Dina, thank you. She plays the probably second lead named Jane. You would know her from Starship Troopers.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. She also was in she was in Star Trek Nemesis, which I don't remember, but there you are.
And also because Friends references always ruffle the hell out of Kelly's feathers, she was Joey's girlfriend for a few episodes of Friends.
Was she? When?
It's one of my favorite side characters. They've got this terrible director who comes on for a few episodes.
Oh my God, yes. And they're in a play together.
Yeah, and she's in those episodes. So
yeah.
But I know Kelly's a huge fan of Friends and loves it.
Look, you know what? I will fight for your right to watch really shitty television if that's what you used to do.
Thank you.
You know what? I kind of get it in that's how I feel about Seinfeld. Everyone around me loves it. I don't care for it myself, but I'm so happy that people are happy.
Yeah. There you go.
I
lean towards you with the
yeah, I'm a little bit more.
It's a show
in the
about
Friends
nothing.
camp.
So is every goddamn sitcom.
Yeah.
What sitcom is actually about something other than like Newsroom or something?
I would rather spend time with characters I like
All right, guys, focus.
Sorry. Yes, we're back. Okay. So it gets better. All right. So at one point we have a character, there's like these two cyberpunk dudes who are like watching some piece of action go down and they're sort of spying on them from afar. You can tell they're like some kind of hacker group. Who knows? And there's one guy looking through some binoculars. The binoculars drop and who is it? It's Ice-T. It's freaking Ice-T. I was like, Ice-T is here. Did they put him on the poster or did they just want it? Felt like a huge reveal in the moment. Sorry, spoilers, guys, but it was so beautiful.
It's got to be one of his earlier acting roles.
It is, yeah. It's long before his 458 episodes of Law and Order SVU.
Wow.
Damn.
But he actually it was a weird time for him because in 94 he did Surviving the Game and in 95 he did Tank Girl. So this is right in this period of time where he was shifting into film. Yeah. Which is pretty great. The first film he ever did was 84 with Break-In, but
well, that sort of fits right in there.
Exactly. So he kills it. He plays J-Bone, this kind of elite hacker guy. He's just fun. He's just super fun to watch. And he's just such a great character. We also have the main kind of bad guy, head of a evil corporation, Takeshi Kitano, played by Takahashi is played by Takeshi Kitano, who you might know as Beat Takeshi.
The name sounds familiar to me, but I can't. What
I'm
do
thinking,
I know?
all I can think of is the director.
He is also a director.
Well, Takashi Miike?
Mm-hmm. He did Sonatanine. He did Brother. He's a huge star in I think it's Japanese film culture. He's like a big player.
Yeah, not the one you're thinking of.
Okay, yeah, it's probably not Takashi Miike.
Yeah.
Who did horribly violent, crazy, over the top. I mean, he's directed probably 150 things or something.
I think he did I Saw the Devil.
Oh, okay. That's different.
Really?
Interesting.
Cool.
Yeah. This guy, he did a lot of stuff during the, I want to say 80s and 90s. He would do a lot of Yakuza and gangster films. But okay,
I'm gonna look this up.
You need to check this guy out. He is super fun to watch. And he has, he's also kind of got he's a triple threat because he's a writer, director, and actor. He also is an editor. So he just brings the whole game. So seeing him show up as a bad guy is just.
He's done a few things, but no, it's not. It's a different guy.
Do you have a picture of him there? Sure. I'm just curious. I can't.
He looks familiar. He's done a lot more acting than he has. Oh, geez, yeah. You've seen him. I know you've seen him and stuff.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a huge actor.
Yeah.
He's done a ton of great films.
So I was really excited to see that because just having seen, if you haven't seen, I'm not saying it right, but Sonatine, Sonatine, check it out. It's freaking great. It's just, I was sobbing. For a Yakuza film, sobbing. Anyway, it's fine. Also, we have...
if I can interject one more time about him.
Please.
What our crowd might know him the most from as an actor is Battle Royale. He's the teacher in Battle Royale.
I didn't even realize.
Yeah. So
that's freaking cool.
Yeah, that's what I know him from.
We also have Dolph Lundgren. He's the street preacher, which I'll get into more in a minute. You guys might know him from Rocky IV as Ivan Drago. Or Masters of the Universe as He-Man, or Universal Soldier. So many greats. Weirdly, then we've got this guy, Ralphie, who's basically Keanu Reeves' agent, who's played by Udo Kier? Thank you. He's been in 267 things. Don't worry about it. Including Andy Warhol's Frankenstein, which is weird. Super creepy eyes guy. Okay. And super random, Henry Rollins is in this movie. So every single person who just appears, I'm like, you're really famous as well. I didn't even list 4 more people in this film that I was like, they're also famous. Henry Rollins is playing this kind of hacker doctor guy. So let me just give you guys a bit of the plot because I feel like I jumped into all these characters without explaining the world in which we are residing in. I just want to say we start off immediately with this title card that says Internet 2021. It's a place.
The distant future.
It's a place. And there's this whole scroll of like information. I had to stop and rewind and read it 3 times. It was so much info. It was ridiculous. I was like, wait, what's happening? And there's like this virus. And basically in the future, it's fine. It's an internet virus that just happens to affect people. It's fine. It's prevalent. Everyone's dying. Ours is not an internet virus, okay, guys? It's fine.
Yet it might still mutate.
You never know.
It might just jump into the mainframe. Is that what you're saying? Get into our non-snail mail. Jump ship. So the world has suffered from a virus called NAS, which stands for Nerve Attention Syndrome.
Sure.
Sorry, I can't read my own handwriting. It's really bad. And they have something involving it called black ice. I don't know. It's complicated. So society is being run by large corporations and the Yakuza for some reason. They don't really explain it, but there's a very Blade Runner feel. You definitely get a lot of like future Japan insertions, a lot of neon, a lot of walking through rain. It feels very, you can tell there's like long coats. It just has that Blade Runner-y feel. They obviously love it. There's a fleet of hackers basically trying to disrupt the world order. So they're constantly like breaking into TV programs and just putting words across the screen, you know, like escape and like break the system and whatever. Like people just saying weird shit because that's apparently helpful. I don't know. Johnny Mnemonic is mnemonic.
Mnemonic. No M. The M is totally silent.
Mnemonic. Mnemonic.
There you go.
Thank you. You can just keep correcting me. It's fine. Is a mnemonic carrier. So basically, he's a walking hard drive. And in order to do this profession, they're like super like high level employees. They're not as bad as like delivery men, but they're like almost like a specialty. It's like a really nice briefcase with like a good lock on it or something. They're very they have like an elite feel to them. They're dressed really nicely. You don't fuck with them because you're fucking over a corporation of some kind, probably. So he had gotten rid of a huge chunk of his brain to make space for this hard drive. So he doesn't have any memories from his childhood. He has no idea who the fuck he is. He doesn't know his name. And he really wants to know. So we start off with him wishing that he hadn't done it and trying to find a way to get his old brain smashed back in. So he's trying to save up money so he can get some backstreet surgeon to put him back together again. But in order for him to do that, he's got to do at least one more big job.
It's always one more job.
Just one more job. So he takes on a job where he's got to deliver a giant piece of information from somebody to somebody. He doesn't want to know the details. He starts off with 80 gigabytes of memory in his brain and goes ahead and pays some cash so he can upgrade it to 160 gigs. And he shows up to this room full of like kind of, you're not sure if they're like Yakuza or what.
You know, in 1993, 160 gigs was
I know
inconceivable.
It's so huge.
Amount of memory.
Unreal.
It's a lot now, but it's definitely conceivable.
It's just weird to think about. Like it is hard though, still, because we're just looking at such a different world where we're like a terabyte is now a new normal.
Yes, exactly. My phone.
Yeah, my phone
can have 160.
Definitely. Absolutely. So he goes into this like kind of room of like people who seem to be scientists and they're like really nervous and needing to offload some info on him and he's got to carry it from one place to another. And it's 320 gigs. And this is the thing. You can do it. You can push your brain and put crap in it, but you're going to die. But he really needs this cash. So he's like, yeah, I've got space. And they're like, are you sure you have space? He's like, yeah, hit me. So they shove this stuff in his brain. He's getting like flashes and nosebleeds and whatever the hell. And then he has to go to the bathroom afterwards and like puke everywhere. And he has like 2 days to get this stuff out of his brain or he is just going to go brain dead. He's going to die. So then we start an adventure with him where he's downloaded the stuff and then all these Yakuza dudes come in and kill everybody in the room who are a bunch of scientists. We don't know quite the background details, but essentially he has a really important piece of information inside of his head. We get introduced to some really interesting characters on his journey of trying to survive / offload / figure out where the hell he's supposed to go with this info at all. Plus his agent is like basically he like screws him over twice in a row. It's really weird. He like fucks him over and sells him out. And then he goes like Johnny goes up to him and he's like, you fucked me over. He's like, don't worry, pal. Meet me here. We're going to figure it out. Meets him there. Gets fucked over again. You gotta stop trusting this guy. He's no good for you, sir. You need to find better representation. This is not a good situation. So he ends up with a girl named Jane, who is she looks like maybe she's a drug addict. She has a bunch of like scars on her arms, and she's his bodyguard. Turns out she's actually just suffering from the virus. So she's kind of our touchstone as to what is happening in the larger populace. He, like I said, he gets betrayed by his agent. She has a friend who's a doctor. That's Spider. And that's when we get Henry Rollins coming in. He helps them out a little bit, shows them more about kind of what's going on in the world, all these sick people in a large space. We've got the Yakuza coming in after him, trying to kill him, including this one lead guy who I didn't look up the actor, but he's got like this weird laser thumbnail. Like he's implanted a thumbnail that he can pull out, and it's like a laser string that he can like garrote people with and like whip around.
Nice.
And like take people's limbs off with. We have the street preacher who's also hired to go after him for some reason, because I guess the other Yakuza dudes aren't enough. And he is just amazing. Like he's got a giant staff. He's got like a giant Jesus staff, and he's walking around in like robes and like long hair, and he's constantly like quoting the Bible. He actually crucifies people at various points. It's rough, but like they commit. Like it's impressive. And then of course we have Ice-T, and I'm not going to go too far into it, but we also have a cyborg in this film that is also a dolphin. It is freaking magical.
Have I seen this film?
None
of this sounds familiar to me at all.
I know I've seen it, and it doesn't sound remotely familiar to me.
The dolphin's name is Jones, and they're like, you got to find Jones, man. You got to find Jones. He's going to help you out through the situation. You got to go get him. And so he's like trying to find this guy named Jones, and it's this fucking dolphin in a tank going, and it's like hanging out with the hackers.
I gotta see this.
Oh, it's so good. Like there isn't a moment I wasn't like, it's getting better. So just a few of my personal highlights. The Internet 2021, sorry, so beautiful. Perfect way to start a movie. I'm in already. What the Internet is, which is literally every CGI graphic they had available at the time.
Oh, no.
There's triangles. There's car sounds. There's techno. There's pizza slices.
Nice.
There's literally any animation they had.
It's a bunch of clip art.
It's a ton of clip art, like made to look like different. It's like 3D-ish clip art. It actually predicts a bunch of future stuff, which I love, including FaceTime. Straight off the bat, they have FaceTime. Man buns. They foresaw the future return of man buns. Hand tracking, that's brand new.
Hand tracing, that's pretty kindergarten level stuff, but all right.
Sorry.
Can make a turkey out of that picture.
It's my handwriting again. I love that they kind of did the Mr. Smith thing. I cannot stop enjoying that. Techno music, as far as the eye can see, it is just wall-to-wall techno. We know we're in the future because freaking techno. New York is reimagined. You've got like the Brooklyn Bridge has been taken over by hackers, and they've like built this society inside of there. There's like buildings that have been torn down, and it's weird but fascinating like locations. They spent so much money art designing and set designing the crap out of this movie. There is more practical set. It's like since Waterworld, I was like, oh my God, this is so big and so crazy, but so committed. Like every detail, they're jumping over like junk piles and stuff. Everything in that junk pile is appropriate to this world. It's really beautiful. The laser fingernail is pretty great. The lines in general.
I love that throwaway line there.
Oh, which are you thinking?
Those laser fingernails.
Oh yeah. Oh, that
cool.
one. Yes, absolutely. There's things like get your VCRs ready. Fuck. What a great line. Oh man. I have a few in here, but like the street preacher is always going, "Halt, sinners!" It's so good. Only way left is to hack your own brain. Hold on, there's one more in here that I really gotta share.
Good Lord, man.
Oh my God, I wrote there. I have 6 pages of just joy. Narrow the bandwidth is great.
Hack the plan. Oh wait, wrong movie.
Wrong movie, but not. I can crash you from here while he's inside the internet. Freaking beautiful. And I also love You Got Parents and Stuff. There is one enormous speech. So good. I mean, like I don't think it's well written. That is like the downside of it, I guess, is like some of these lines just make no sense. But I don't know. It's pretty committed. There's a speech in there, I can't find it off the top right now, but that Keanu Reeves gives about like wanting the best of the best and how like he shouldn't be where he is, and it is just absolutely insane. If I can find it here in a sec, then I'll read a little bit for you guys. But as far as negatives I wrote down for this movie, nothing, literally nothing. I don't know why people are so dumb as to think this film is not freaking the best film ever made by anybody. This was so much fun to watch. I cannot, if you have not seen this movie, watch it right now. If you are stuck at home and you just need to like have pure joy, freaking jump into this film. It's just, everyone is so
We have
committed.
found Vanessa's touchstones.
I'm watching this tonight. What did you watch this on?
I actually watched, I think I bought it on Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did pay for it. Okay, I found,
VHS tape would have been great.
Okay, here's just a little bit of a speech that is just he freaks out at one point because he's on the wrong side of the bridge. He's hanging out with a bunch of homeless and sick people. He's not with the rich people. He's not doing the thing he wants to do, like get his brain back together. And he says, "What the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going on? You know, all my life I've been careful to stay in my own corner, looking out for number one, no complications. Now suddenly I'm responsible for the entire fucking world, and everybody and his mother's trying to kill me if my head doesn't blow me up first. Jane, maybe it's not about you anymore. Johnny, listen, you listen to me. You see that city over there? This is the big one. That's where I'm supposed to be, not down here with the dogs and the garbage and the fucking last month's newspapers blowing back and forth." Which is so beautiful because they're going back and forth. I've had it with them. I've had it with you. I've had it with all of this. I want room service. I want club sandwiches. I want I want a cold Mexican beer. I want a $10,000 a night hooker. I want my shirts laundered like they do at the Imperial Hotel in Tokyo. It's so good. Like the way it's delivered makes no sense at all. Like there's no reason why he should be doing what he's doing and saying what he's saying, but it just works. Everything that's wrong with this movie works. Okay, that's it for me. I 10 out of 10.
For the listeners who have asked us to do video while we're doing this, I for one time actually wish we had. If you had seen how animated Vanessa was, her arms raised above her head, this was an amazing bit of performance art. Thank you.
Yes. I can't help it. It just comes out. Like when you're excited, I just can start pulling on my hair. I got like, oh, it's so good. Oh my God.
So for those of you wondering where Vanessa's taste lay in film, this is probably the most passionate you've been about any film you've talked on, even the ones where we talked about the
like
ones that shaped
films?
us in the future.
This isn't going to shape me. It's just fucking fun.
So you need to watch this and Lake Placid. And between the two,
somewhere
you'll really figure out.
Somewhere you're going to figure out.
Taste.
It's weird though, because I feel like there isn't that much difference, but there is.
Oh, you hated Lake Placid
I know.
so much.
Exactly. I hated it.
Same amount of passion.
Yes, exactly.
Keep in mind, everybody, that this film has a 13% on Rotten Tomatoes. So,
but they're wrong. That's all I'm gonna say. You know what? Time brings a new light to all kinds of things. And now that we are in the age of the internet, where we can go onto a supercomputer anytime in our back pocket, I keep mine next to my butt. That's how much I care about it. It is just back in my pocket, hanging out there. I have a supercomputer. I could freaking, like, if this was the 80s, I could launch the nukes with this thing. This brings it all into perspective.
So, shall we just finish the go home.
I'm excited for you guys. I want to know what you found. I'm like so stoked. I'm so hyped on the internet right now.
I'll go next then.
Yes.
I thought this was a weird topic, and I looked at a bunch of things, and Johnny Mnemonic was on my list of possibilities. Mm-hmm. But instead, I found this kind of groovy film from 2010 called Black Heaven.
When he saved the life of a stranger.
Tu l'as vu? Tu sais ce que ça veut dire? Tu connais Black Hole.
She led him into a secret world.
You can now start to explore Black Hole.
It started as a game. It turned into an obsession that could cost him his life. IFC Films presents a movie critics are calling a wildly seductive ride. An intelligent thriller, the twists are riveting. Black Heaven.
This was also released in France. It is a French film under the title The Other World. It was a midnight selection at the Cannes Film Festival. I could find no budget numbers, but the box office was $453,000.
Wow.
Well done, guys.
I don't know if that's a good box
It's got like
office or
one
not.
guy in a room.
Well, for the way you're saying it, if it's just kind of a festival sort of run, that's pretty good.
That's
Yeah, it could be,
good.
except that it looks like it cost a lot more than that. This is a really sharp-looking film. Rotten Tomatoes didn't have a critic rating, but the audience only has it at 28%, probably because it's subtitled. It's a foreign language film, and, people have a hard time with that. It was written and directed by Gilles Marchand.
Hey, it's nice to see somebody else trip a little bit.
Who has done a number of French films, but there was nothing that has had any kind of stateside success, so I didn't bother write anything down. It stars Grégoire Leprince, Louise Bourgoin, and Melville Poupaud. And none of these people looked familiar, but they were all very good actors.
Nice.
And it starts with this young couple who we get a feeling that they're kind of, I don't want to say danger seekers, but they're out on the beach, and then they go into a dressing room by themselves and kind of start making out and maybe fooling around. And then all of a sudden, in this dressing room, a discarded cell phone rings. And they're like, well, whose is this? And they answer it, and it starts off this mystery. They don't say anything, but they can see that something is going on here. So with this phone open to them, they start actually kind of flipping through it, and they're finding pictures, and they kind of get infatuated with the idea of something's going on here between whoever thinks they are talking to and whoever has this other phone. And they see that it's they're supposed to meet this person at this church, and so they go there instead. And somehow, this is one of the parts that didn't quite make sense to me. The meeting that they are going to see actually takes place, but I'm like, how did the other person know what to do when they've got this phone?
Maybe it was like a follow-up text, like,
yeah.
don't forget your meeting.
I think it was because they follow these people into they follow the guy into a hardware store where he buys a long bit of hose. And he takes it to the car with the girl, and then they head off onto this long drive, and our young couple are following him on a little like a little mini Esprit motorbike or whatever those. Yeah. And they lose them up in the middle of the woods and everything. And they're like, well, the adventure is over, but this is a lovely place. And so out in the middle of nature, they start making out and, possibly having sex and all this stuff. And they hear a scream. And they're like, oh, what's going on here? So they kind of sneak around and they find the car that they had been following. And inside is the man and the woman, and they are dead. They have taken a pill. Well, we find this out. They're dead, and they pull them out. The guy is dead. The girl they are able to resuscitate and call the cops. The boy, who is part of the couple we've been following, he sees that they have filmed whatever happened in the car, and so he grabs the little camera. And that's what sets off this whole thing. He watches the film and sees that they have taken a pill, and they are talking about black heaven and the black hole and all of this stuff. And he realizes that they met on this internet gaming system. I don't know if you guys are familiar with MMORPGs, or as I like to call them, massive multiplayer online role-playing games.
You mean home? not my home, just some people's.
Well, these two people met on this and then had some kind of relationship. Their characters had some kind of relationship and then decided to meet each other and then follow through with whatever the suicide plan was.
Wow.
And it starts off this crazy thing where the guy gets very obsessed with this girl he has saved, and he joins this gaming community and starts interacting with her character. She doesn't know that this is the guy that saved her. But in real life, he also is interacting with her in a completely different way. So he tells her, you know, I'm the guy that saved you, and she's very beautiful. And he's falling for her, but she's not that interested. But she is interested in the character he is portraying himself to be online. And so it keeps bopping back and forth that way. It's kind of a weird... It's got a real Hitchcockian flavor, maybe even a little bit of David Lynch in there. In this game that is called The Black Hole, they are able to like beat people up and kill people and stuff like that. You send them into purgatory and all of that stuff. Or you can buy people gifts, or you can have online sex with these people, but you just give them your credit card number and they actually take the number or take the money, and so you're basically having online prostitution and stuff like that going on. It's really weird. It's really interesting. And the game, so this is from 2010, so already 10 years ago. The game looks beautiful. It looks like a MMORPG. If you ever played any of the big ones, you know, Warcraft or anything like that, it looks like that, except it's all black and white with little bits of color. Wow. So it's very noirish in these scenes. And then the storyline that's going on in the actual film is all, you know, brightly lit. It all takes place in the day and everything, but it feels like a noir film. Oh, cool. Wow. So it's got like a noir storyline going on with these bright daytime scenes. And then you get into the game and it looks like an old movie from, you know, the 40s. I don't want to get too far into it because there's some weird twists and everything, and I'm not saying it's a great movie, but I found it very enjoyable. It's kind of like Blue Velvet meets The 13th Floor.
Holy shit. Oh, man.
And now that I say that, I wish I had picked The 13th Floor for this.
I was like, I actually haven't seen The 13th Floor, but
13th Floor is amazing. Better than Matrix, in my opinion.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know. I loved it. I thought it was really weird. It is slow, but it was very compelling. The acting was really solid. And
any guesses why the rating's kind of low? Beyond
my guess is after watching it, my guess is that it's a foreign film, and
it's got a foreign feel to it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a selection at Cannes. You know,
yeah, it can be. Yeah,
well, that happens with some of the like Dark City.
Yeah,
which is a fantastic film, was horribly received. So you never know.
Yeah.
It sounds so timely because this is like a big thing that's happening where a lot of people are committing their real lives to their fake lives inside of these MMORPGs.
Thank you for saying.
I think I got that right. Yeah, nailed it. Right?
The weird thing is the main character, who is this boy that we're following, and you know, he kind of is blowing off his girlfriend and all of this stuff now because he's just infatuated with her. He is not a super likable guy as we get to know him, and the bullshit he's pulling on this stuff with this woman is like super weird and crazy. And really what he's trying to do is get to that moment where she wants to die with him now.
Oh, wow.
And it's just, it's a very dark story.
Explain what this, is it like internet heaven? Is this place that they want to kill themselves and go to?
Well, they don't really get into that, but they talk about how there is the beach in this game.
Weird.
But you can't really get to it. But that's this thing that they talk about. And she, in the video that she had set up to die with this guy, she explains, you know, to him and to us that that they will be going to see the beach and all of this stuff. So it's just a bunch of very damaged people, like every noir film is.
The reason I said damn is kind of like the beach, sort of like Dark City, which I just referenced as. Let's go for our holiday visit on the beach.
I like it because it sounds very Black Mirror.
It does feel that way. It's also very French. So
French Black Mirror.
It's, you know, there are parts where you're just like, yeah, Christ, this is a little melodramatic. But I also understand where it's coming from.
That helps. Knowing it's a French film sets you up.
Yeah.
Well, shall I dive in then? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to say now Johnny Mnemonic sort of paints the picture of the internet as this, from the 93's viewpoint, of this amazing, powerful thing that'll be wonderful and be used in all these amazing films. Well, I think I've got a movie that paints the internet a little closer to what it has ended up as.
Really?
That's 2017's Like Me.
Turn that off. You're not being safe.
Are you scared of me?
I caught this on Prime. I could find nothing for the budget. Box office, though, of $12,965.
Beautiful.
Don't know. I love which one is that specific.
It's like not quite a car.
Would you make that up, right? The Rotten Tomatoes is 73 critics and 55 from the audience. Written and directed by Robert Macklett. It's first and only feature. He doesn't have any other directing credits. Starring Addison Timlin she played Shelley in Depraved and was in Fallen. Ian Nielsen from Freak Show and The Deleted. And Larry Fessender. How do you say that?
Fassbender?
The kind of wild-looking guy who plays a lot of weird character stuff.
Fassenden?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it. Thank you. Yep, and he's kind of the secondary lead. So the movie starts off with the lady being played by Addison Timlin in well, you don't know it's her yet, but she's committing a crime. She's setting a guy up and she's videotaping the whole crime as she's messing with the guy, pointing a gun at him, getting him to freak out and do weird stuff. And of course, then after that wraps up, she takes it and puts it on her what kind of looks like an Instagram page.
Okay.
And there's a shot right after that almost made me, nope, I'm done with this movie, until I figured out what they were doing. But it's this awful, annoying shot where it's just these weird images after image after image, coupled with a really neat camera shot. What the fuck is going on? And by the time it wraps up, you realize he's just shown you all this other stuff she's posted before.
Right.
I was like, okay, damn, that's actually really clever.
Yeah, that's actually pretty cool.
Nothing like what she just posted. It's all been, flowers and basic stuff and things. And then she posts this really dark one and it blows up. Becomes a huge internet sensation. And there's a great series of people reacting to it and talking about it that looks just like anything that happens after a giant one blows up that's remotely controversial. So she's just enjoying it, basically. And comes across this guy who is nasty about it, just horribly critical and says horrible thing. Very much a incel kind of sounding person. And it bothers her incredibly. It really, he hits her as kind of like as hard as he probably hoped he would hit her. So she has to kind of start dealing with him going, well, is she going to shoot another internet video at some point? We'll see what's going on. She then goes on to this scene, I don't know why this scene happened at all, to be honest. Actually, I think I have a theory. She goes out and she starts videotaping a homeless guy, then takes him for a giant meal at like a Denny's, and they just sit and talk. And I'm pretty sure that the director or producer or somebody involved with this film has an eating fetish.
Oh.
I almost didn't talk about this film at all because that shit grosses me out so much.
Oh.
And it's full of that stream that I said earlier where it's like, what the hell's going on? It's a lot of pictures of her biting into things. And then when they go this meal, there's stuff like that again.
Yeah.
And that they interact. I forgot, the actress is really good. All the acting is top notch. It looks really good. Unfortunately, it looks really good because it's really gross. But so she just asked the guy to tell her a story. At no point is she videotaping any of this.
Oh.
And as far as I remember, it never gets referenced again.
Weird. So she's not doing it for her
scene.
channel. She's not. Okay.
It's just a scene in the movie.
Which
She's just
gives
she likes
credence
to...
to your thought that this is what this guy likes.
Yeah, because there's tons of eating in this film, but this is the biggest scene for it. So she goes and gets a hotel room and calls up the guy in the front of the hotel room or who's running the hotel and basically teases him into wanting to sleep with her. So he goes, like, a good sleazy guy in a movie always does. Larry heads up to the room, and when he opens the room, it almost looks like something out of a low budget Cell, the movie The Cell, where she somehow painted the room entirely white. There's plastic sheets on the bed. She is sitting. She's wearing this weird, almost fetish-looking costume, latexy thing, sitting in a hammock on the top of the room with weird blood things dripping down the wall. I'm like, it looks really cool, but I'm like, when the hell did you do this?
She's been casing that room for a while.
Yes.
She's like, okay, I'm going to need like 3 buckets of paint. Okay. Go to the Home Depot.
So she sets him up kind of by letting him know, it's like, I'm 17. Like, do you still want to do this? He's like, sure. So you make the guy look bad. And then gets him into bed, ties him up with against the railing of the bed, and then proceeds to feed him things.
Oh, my God.
Where she's videotaping that.
Weird. Okay.
Feed him to the point where he starts to throw up on himself. And then that's what she posts for her second video, which also does just as well. Same kind of things again. Going, okay, this is working really, really well. Is really dark. She shot that though with a good old size of your head VHS camera. Because it looks cool, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, because like old tech is cool for reasons.
That's right. And of course, that guy comes back again and responds and bothers her again, but she keeps him alive and chained up.
Oh.
And so Larry's still around. He's around for almost the whole film. They go on their things and do their talking, and it's like I said, it's an incredibly well acted film. It's well written. Tension is good. Everything that's going on works really well. I almost wrote it off completely because of the eating thing, but a day or two later, I'm still thinking about the film. It's still going through my head. I'm going, okay, yeah, there's something in this that is deeper.
Do you ever like find out kind of why she's doing what she's doing?
For the likes.
Just for the likes.
For like me. That's where
She just
Jumonic was
broke one day and was like, no more flowers. Fuck it. Let's freaking torture a dude.
Well, yeah, it's where Mnemonic was, hey, look at this great possible, maybe a little dark, but look at the possible future of what the internet can do to, hey, I just want to get a lot of likes and people to watch me and like me online. So she brings a gun into the situation to escalate, and it gets really, really, it's fairly dark. It's fairly weird. If, like me, you have a hard time watching people throw up on screen or eat on screen, it's a time of very challenging watch. And it has a wonderfully satisfying ending if you hate internet trolls.
Oh,
so
nice.
It's hard to explain because it's another one of those real interesting, strange, bordering on artsy films, but it does a good job of talking about how messed up internet culture can be and how it's become without being dickish about it, without being preachy.
It sounds though like it addresses the fact that we've all become gigantic narcissists now that we have all this available to us. So,
because the biggest narcissists in the film are her and that guy that gets under her skin so bad.
Right.
So I think you're correct, sir.
Have you guys ever seen the movie Nerve?
No.
Okay. It's interesting because it sounds like a much shallower version of this film where it's basically teens trying to they're challenging each other on the internet to do crazier and crazier shit.
Oh, that was on my list to watch, but then I didn't watch it.
It is super fun. Like I would definitely, especially for you, I'd check it out and see like compare and contrast because it's sort of a light version of that, but also has some really dark elements in it too of like, how, realistically, how far would you push yourself because of this dumb
sort of like a would you rather, but on the internet.
Yep. 100%. Man. Cool. Right. Man, the internet is a effed up place. That's what I've learned. That is my takeaway. The internet will either make you commit suicide, make you do heinous crimes, or have your brain explode and give you a contagious disease.
Right.
Yep.
Along with an eating fetish.
Oh my God. The internet, you guys. More than just Wikipedia. Turns out.
What's that rule? Rule 34 or something like that?
No.
Can't remember the exact number of it. That if there's somebody likes it, somebody will do porn version of it.
Oh, sure.
Right.
Oh
God. Okay. Well, so that was the internet, or I'm going to struggle with finding a title for this episode. But that does mean that it's my pick for the next episode.
Nice.
What I wanted to do was jump into like anthology films and everything, and I realized it's so hard because anthology films are always a mixed bag. You have like one or two great segments and all that. And so with that in mind, I want you to pick your favorite segment from an anthology film. Maybe we'll put together a really cool anthology film between the three of us.
Nice. That's a cool challenge.
Excellent.
So that's what we're doing next week, guys. Thank you so much. Hey, everybody. Really appreciate all the love and everything we're getting. Keep washing your hands. Be good to each other. And we will see you next week. Our show is recorded somewhere high above Naval Station Everett at the nexus of all realities and is engineered and produced by Eric Morgret. Our theme music is Strange Eons Part 1 by the band Nightshade and is used with permission. Find Strange Eons Radio on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and wherever fine podcasts are found.